Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the It's Just Dinner podcast, where we're changing the dating culture one episode at a time. I'm your host, Tom Robinson, and right across from me, my co-host, Bob Walsh.
Tom, it's so good to be here. I can't tell you. It's the highlight of my day.
Good, it should be.
Well,
You're on the It's Just Dinner podcast.
Nothing bigger.
And we're changing the dating culture.
No, great. One episode at a time.
And, I think we're doing pretty good.
I think we're doing pretty good. After every episode, I just feel the universe telling me that dating is changing.
It's changing. I can feel it. I can feel it.
And you can feel that.
I'm still, I guess, excited and proud of how many people now are coming up to us and saying, I listened to your podcast.
And I told you, someone recognized me from my voice. I was talking, and a girl said, "Hey, have you got something to do with the It's Just Dinner podcast?" And I said, "What?"
Yes, really familiar.
She said, "I recognized your voice." So it's the first time I've been recognized by just my voice.
You're used to being your face.
Well, that's it's hard.
Your face has changed to a podcast.
My voice is still pretty much the same as it was when I was a kid. So,
well, sitting on our engineering board,
yes,
is Sophia.
Sophia, welcome.
Glad
to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yes.
So Sophia went home for a while, and now she's back. So nice to have you back, Sophia.
Thank you.
Hey, I've got something planned today that you might like.
Okay, and what's that?
This is one of our listeners' favorite episodes. This is bad date stories.
Bad date stories on the menu on the It's Just Dinner podcast.
So for all you lovers of the bad date stories, here you go.
Yeah.
I have several that I have that have been sent to me.
Uh-huh.
And so what I thought we'd do, just like we did last time, because I thought it was pretty fun.
You know me. There's nothing I enjoy more than making fun of other people at their expense.
at their bad dates.
Yeah.
Now there is a common theme between all of these.
Okay.
And you'll probably tell what it is, but it's with our young men not really having a clue.
Having a clue what they're doing?
Yeah. And so what we're trying to do today is to educate our young men listeners.
Right. We're developing a recipe for the bad date.
So if you are a man out there, we've got some stories for you, and I want you to learn from these. And I think you and I should talk about these.
Well, these are always educational.
And I think it will be interesting to see what Sophia has to say about these too, because she may have been on one of these. One of these stories,
don't know, because they're
stories may be hers.
They could be. We'll never know.
We'll never know. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm going to read 3.
Okay.
And you pick out which one you think
you're going to be 3 headlines,
right?
And I'm going to pick one.
And you pick out the one you think you want to hear.
I got you.
All right. So the first one is Chivalry and the Haunted House.
Chivalry and the Haunted House.
Yeah, Haunted Maze, actually.
The Haunted Maze. Okay.
Yeah, and then Ice Cream, Bowling, and Venmo.
Okay.
And then Not a Marvel Us Date. So Marvel
Us Date.
And then we added us to it. So Not a Marvelous Date.
I'm just going to go with the fact that ice cream intrigued me.
Oh.
So let's go with ice cream.
Ice cream, bowling, and Venmo.
Let's hear that.
Okay. All right. You ready for this? Here we go.
Okay.
Sophia, you ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. This is a date I went on last week. Mm-hmm. We went to Handel's Ice Cream.
Oh, I know what that is.
You know where that is? Nice ice cream. You've been to Handel's?
I have.
Nice ice cream, where he made me pay for myself.
Oh, well, that's romantic, isn't it?
And Handel's is not cheap, so he asks her out to go get ice cream.
Yeah.
And then expects her to pay for her own. I think that's something you probably should discuss beforehand. What do you think, Sophia?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the expectation. So I feel like it's okay to not discuss it if you assume that they're going to pay for you. But if he wants her to pay, I guess that would be fine. But I would definitely let her know or have her be part of the conversation to choose.
So I've always said if you ask someone on a date, you should pay.
All right.
Whether it's a girl asking a boy or a boy asking a girl.
Yes.
All right. So I had to pay for myself. And then while we were there, he filled out an application to apply for a job. I got the look on her face.
Okay, well, now we know why he didn't pay for the ice cream.
He didn't have a job.
At least that's, I was wondering, why would you do that? Now I know.
Now we know.
Now we know the rest
so
of the story.
After ice cream, we went bowling.
Okay.
And here is where it gets bad.
Okay.
We were at the cashier's table, and they asked, are you guys paying separately? And he looked like he was kind of processing the question. Then he just said, together. And I thought, wow, he actually paid for me. How nice.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. And he looks at me and says, you can Venmo me later.
Okay.
And she
Wow.
and she has here, excuse me? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Wow.
And she said, bowling is not, inexpensive. And he asked me on the date.
Right.
So after a few days later, I got a snap from him that says, the money you Venmo me is going towards something good.
Oh, that's good.
And she said, I was thinking, oh, good. He's going to use it for his rent or his food. And that it made me feel a little bit better having to pay for my own date.
Yeah.
And so I asked him what it was going towards, and he said, my new golf clubs.
Okay. Okay, so as terrible as this sounds, this guy did this girl a huge, huge favor by showing her what he was really like. I mean, I don't. This is I don't know how you could get a better example of someone being completely transparent, and that's what we. So if that's who you
he
are,
doesn't have any money.
if you're the guy who asks a girl out and makes her pay for her own bowling and her own ice cream, applies for a job while you're on the date, and then uses the money to buy golf clubs. I think that's good that she knew that, don't you think, on the first date? Because the thing is, if she'd learned that, after 3 years of marriage, then, you're in trouble. So right away, she knew this guy, there's no spark there. This guy is not for me.
Right. Well, and the fact that he had enough guts to tell her a few days later that,
I'm getting some new golf
thanks
clubs.
for repaying me, because now I can get new
I got
golf
that
clubs.
job at the ice cream place, and now I can...
Okay, 4 new golf clubs.
Right. So we can't classify that as a bad date story. That's actually a really good date story because it saved her a lot of time and effort of going down the wrong road.
Right.
So let's talk about him. Fellas, let me just give you a little advice here. Don't be stupid. I mean, just about everything in this was...
You're about to hear a few more where you can say that.
Well, let's get going here. Then I think we started off strong with that.
That was a good one. That was a good choice.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So you ready? I'm going to give you the same 2, and I'm going to add one more. Right. So chivalry and the haunted maze, not a marvelous date, and we want to go out again sometime.
Okay, let's try chivalry and the haunted maze. Because those are fun. Have you been to the haunted maze before?
I have one time.
Yeah. They're quite
fun.
Yeah, they are.
Okay. So this guy I met on campus asked me if I wanted to go to a haunted corn maze with him. So of course I said yes because it sounded fun, and also first dates are super chill.
Yes.
Kind of a fun. Is that a fun first date? I guess you'd have a lot of time to talk and get to know each other.
Oh, they're fun. Everybody likes to go to those.
He said we would get dinner right next door to the haunted maze at one of his favorite Mexican restaurants.
So far.
We texted almost a full week before the date even happened. He hyped it up so much. I was super excited to actually get to know him.
Yeah.
So Friday night rolls around and he comes and picks me up. No red flags yet. No. He said the place we were going to was about 45 minutes away, and the whole time he was acting all chivalrous about how he would protect me in the maze if I got too scared.
Wow, okay.
Did you find those scary, Sophia?
Not personally.
I can't. I'm just admitting. Even I found sometimes those are not scary, but you get shocked.
Okay. Well, you're gonna like this guy. Okay. When we get there, he pays for both of us.
Oh, good.
And we walk in, and to be honest, the whole thing was kind of silly.
All right. So it was a silly...
I'm just shrugging off all the scares in the maze, but my date was screaming at every scare like he was a little kid.
All right.
Okay. I thought at first he was goofing around with me, but I could see the actual terror in his face. I didn't want to embarrass him, but I got uncomfortable, so I took him by the hand to help him get through the rest of the maze. Now get this, at one point we get caught up in this big group and somehow we get separated. Mm-hmm. I looked around for him and decided to go to the exit and wait for him to come out. I literally waited for 30 to 40 minutes, and he finally comes out covered in dust and corn silks. He told me he got lost and fell, and that he didn't think he would ever get out until some kids helped him find the exit. She said, I felt really sorry for him. He was a nice guy, but should have certainly stayed away from haunted houses.
Wow.
Yeah, unpack that one.
Well, there's so much good about this. First, the idea of going to the corn maze was great. I mean, that's a fun thing. And, approaching someone and saying, hey, would you like to go out with me? And obviously enticed her to want to go, picked her up, took her there, and
text for a whole week.
Through a week. And so she had enough connection with him, and the fact that they met on campus and that he was a student and she was a student, that she probably felt safe driving with him in the car.
Right.
That was fun. So they went to the corn maze. That was great. He paid.
So
but
he at this point, he's done everything.
He's got 100%, man. He is just doing great. The only thing that he failed on is that maybe you should go to a corn maze first in your life
and try it out
before and find out if, and we all have triggers, things that get us, maybe he had some PSD from, maybe he was kidnapped by, evil monsters or something at some point. But for some reason, he was triggered in the corn maze that caused him to revert back to a child.
Yes.
Or, at first I was saying, okay, this guy is a genius because he found a way for her to hold his hand. And I thought, this guy has got it going. But the fact that he was screaming like a little girl.
and scared to death.
And then he got lost. And couldn't his way out.
Well, you can just imagine he's now scared.
Right.
He's alone.
Yes.
And he fell and he's covered in dust and corn silks and he's just kind of crawling around.
But she was able to just walk out of this little, it sounds like it was a corn maze for kids. The little kids had to help him out. Hey, mister.
Are you
Don't cry, mister. We'll help you out. Well, that would make a funny movie,
It would, and I can just see her waiting at the exit, just like
for him to come out.
She's looking at her watch, going, "Should I go back in?"
Well, see, now there's some women that would be attracted to a man who, that would depend upon them for the easiest of things, like getting out of a corn maze and things like that. So that might be attractive to someone.
But we have a woman here. Let's ask her.
Would that be attractive to you, Sophia? A man who cries like a little girl? That wasn't a good way to say it.
Crawls around in a corn
would be
maze.
attractive to you because he did everything right. He's obviously a kind guy. And what would your response be?
I think that definitely depends on the person. I think a lot of people are attracted to the goofy, lost kind of guy.
Little boys.
But I think that definitely for me personally, that would be a little hard if he was screaming, just because I wouldn't know how to handle it.
Well, the terror look in his face with this one.
Yeah, that would be hard. I mean, if he was goofing around and pretending to be scared so that he wanted me to hold his hand, and I thought he was cute, then I would probably do that, and that would be fine. But he wasn't kidding me.
Here's the thing: he would have to be really cute.
Right? He would.
To make up for that, he'd have to be really cute.
Yeah, I've never held someone's hand on my own accord, so he would have to be really
through a
cute.
corn maze.
Especially not through a corn maze.
Yeah.
And I think that going on dates is really important to do something that you're confident at, especially if you're the guy, because that's not his fault. There's definitely things that would make me uncomfortable on a date. He didn't realize, obviously, that was a corn maze.
Right.
But then do something that you've done before so that you can impress her with what you know, because she might be uncomfortable, and then you would have to make up for that. But if you're both
imagine
uncomfortable,
if she was scared, they were both in there,
and they're both screaming.
Yeah,
And the little kids had to come in and
so how was the corn maze? Oh, good, but there were these college students that we had to help out. They were crying.
Maybe they would have bonded.
They have a funny date story. All right, you ready for another one?
I am ready for another one.
Okay, all right. Not a marble date.
Yeah.
We want to go out again sometime.
Okay.
And I thought we were going climbing.
I'm going to have to go. I thought we were going climbing.
Oh,
those are some of my favorite worst date stories.
The favorite worst dates are the climbing stories?
Climbing and hiking.
Okay, all right. So there was this really cute guy I met in class, and we talked several times, and he finally asked me out. Seems like all the stories start like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was super excited because I've been waiting for him to ask me out for a long time. He asked me if I'd ever been rock climbing, and I said that I'd never done it before. And it sounded like it was going to be fun, and I was really excited to try it for my first time.
Right.
On the day of the date, I put on my cutest workout clothes, and he picked me up, and we headed to the rock climbing place. So it looks like we're going indoor rock climbing.
This sounds terrific.
So she wore her cute outfit.
Great so far.
Picked her up.
He's a cute guy.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
So we go inside, and I see all these people climbing on the walls, and it looks like it's going to be super fun to learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We go up to pay, and without even looking at me, he pays for himself and walks in.
Okay.
Here we go again.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there, and I have no idea what to do.
Yeah.
Do I pay for myself? What do I even pay for? How long are we going to be there? I'm confused, and so I just walk in behind him.
Without paying.
Yeah. And I guess I must have had a confused look on my face because he looked at me and said, well, since you said you'd never done this before, I didn't think that you'd be interested in trying it.
Okay. So I just want you to come watch me.
Well, okay. So she said, so I spent the whole night watching him climbing all over the place, talking to everyone, having a great time, and completely ignoring me. When he finally gets done, he asks me, did you have fun?
Oh, yeah.
I said, you mean watching you climbing and having a great time? And she said, yeah, it was loads of fun.
Well, could we go out again and I can watch you doing something else?
We can watch you play basketball.
I could watch you doing your homework, or I guess I'm hoping that what this comes down to is the fact that he didn't have money, and so money was
the fact that he would just walk in.
I'm thinking here. I'm trying to get inside his broken brain, but the only thing I can think is that he just didn't have enough money to pay for both of them, and he wanted to impress her with his climbing ability. Okay. But the thing is, if you don't have enough money to pay for both of you, don't go on that date.
Don't go climbing.
Go do something else. Go walk around or something. She thought you were cute. I'm talking
she wanted to go out
to you right now. She thought you were cute, and she wanted to be with you to get to know you. She did not get a chance to get to know you, other than that you were a narcissist.
And she wanted to do this activity with him.
Yes. And she wore her cute outfit. Good heavens. What is going on here with America? So for her standpoint, I don't think there's anything that she could do on this except, you never know. It's a crapshoot when you go out on a first date with somebody. But, the worst thing that happened is she had to sit there and watch somebody climb, and
not do anything.
And not sit there do anything. So
then feel completely ignored on someone asked you on a date.
So it was a bad date, and it's not likely if he asked her out again, as cute as he might be, that she's going to say yes, because he showed a lot of things. Number one, he showed us he didn't really care about her.
Right.
He cared about himself and having her, adoring him for being a good rock. Do women do that? Is that what's going on today? Oh, he's such a good rock climber. Is that like a thing now?
I mean, yeah, I would be impressed if someone was good at rock climbing. That's hard.
Yes, it is.
If they ignored me, I'd probably be less impressed.
Yes.
I'd be more impressed if they could teach me how to rock climb.
Well, it is a kind of a two-person thing, too, isn't it?
Well, it would seem
you have someone
would assume. Have you ever done this before? No, I haven't. Oh, good.
I get
so
to
you're
teach you.
assuming that you get to learn some new skill and have fun, and just think what fun they could have had. How this could have been approved into an actual
relationship, but she was extremely turned off by this.
So it comes down to: does he not have the money to pay for her? Or did he just want to not have to try and teach someone because he wanted to show off his rock climbing
he made
skills?
some assumptions there. You've never tried it before, so you must not be interested.
Right.
And so,
well, I think it was.
Here's the thing: why didn't he ask? Why didn't he ask
at the beginning?
At the beginning,
said, "You want to do it? You want to climb, or just want to watch me?
Would you like me to teach you how?"
She said, "Yeah, I'd like to learn how." Or no, I just want to come and watch you.
It would be like
you're so cute.
It would be like going to play pickleball, and you say, "Well, I've never done it before." Then I go over and play pickleball with you all night.
Right? You watch. Say, okay, why don't you sit right here and you can watch me?
Me and Bob play pickleball.
There's too many things on this that don't make sense.
All right,
I want to apologize to this young lady. I'm sure she's listening right now. For speaking for all of the males in the world, we'd like to apologize to you officially for the It's Just Dinner podcast, because that was if you call in, Tom will give you a free drink certificate.
Yeah, let us give you a gift certificate,
yes.
And we will treat you, and you can ask a young man to go on a
rock climbing. We'll give you a free rock climbing pass for one.
Is it still the quarry here? And we could get them as a sponsor.
If they would sponsor us, we'd give you a free rock climbing for one, so you can invite him and say,
he can watch you.
I've got a free pass, so do you want to just watch me for a while? Watch me learn.
Watch me learn.
This really handsome guy is going to teach me how to rock climb while you sit and watch.
That's probably what would happen. Okay, you ready for another one?
I'm ready to go.
All right, so same two. Not a marvelous date. We want to go out with you again sometime. And the bouncy house date.
Well, I'm going to save the bouncy house date for later. Let's go with that first one and get it out of the way.
Oh, the marvelous date.
It's hokey. The medium, but let's just hope it's better, right, Sophia? Let's hope it's better than the read.
Well, we can't get much worse, right?
Well, no, these are all good. These are all good bad dates.
Okay, here we go again. I got asked out on a date by this guy who wanted to see a Marvel movie.
Okay, I had an idea that was in here somewhere.
Yeah, Marvel.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not super into Marvel, but I thought, why not? It's a movie with a cute guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can't lose with that.
He texted about an hour before and said he didn't have a car.
Oh.
And so I would need to go to drive to his house and pick him up.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Not sure why he waited until an hour before the date to tell me that he didn't have a car, but I decided it was okay. After a 45-minute drive out to his very far away house, I picked him up and then we drove all the way back in town to the movie theater.
Wow.
It was a weird drive too because he didn't talk to me the whole drive.
Oh, wow.
I would ask questions and he would literally just stare at me or occasionally give me a one-word answer. And we talked about this guy a lot, so I mean,
this is like
not having a conversation.
Of one of those horror movies.
Yeah, so we got in line. I could just see the look on his face, is that blank stare of.
Yeah.
So we got in line for tickets, and that's when I found out.
No, don't tell me.
This is going to happen again. That he didn't bring his money, so I paid for the movie. Mostly because I didn't want to waste the time it took me to pick up the guy and drive all the way back in town.
Get something out of it.
So we started watching the movie, and then he had the audacity to try to kiss me. So
during a Marvel movie? Come on, is there a romantic?
He doesn't have a car. She has to pick him up. He can't pay for the movie, but he wants to try to kiss her.
Oh, dear.
Where in this date did he think it was going so well that he could try to kiss me?
Wow.
I was young and stupid and decided to give him a little peck just to keep things less awkward and then maybe he'd keep him off of me. Wow. But now these are all caps, but no. He thought I was all ready to make out with him. She says that did not happen. Needless to say, it was a really long drive back to his house.
Well, it couldn't have been worse than the drive out because he didn't say anything else on the way. So
the entire night, he probably spoke to me about a total of 10 words. Such a weird night.
Wow.
After I dropped him off, he texted me saying he had a nice night and wanted to go out again. How is it possible that someone could be that socially clueless? Well, and how did he think the night went so well?
Well, so, this is, break this down. He was cute, so that's why she was
originally
accepted. She found something about him that she found attractive,
right.
and so she didn't really want to get to know him better. This is not a man who wants a friend or a relationship. This is a man who wants another mommy.
It's pick me up, pay for me,
kiss me, and carry the conversation, talk to me, and so this is not. And I think she probably learned this. That the thing this is not a man who's going to step up and be your partner.
Right.
You're going to be picking up his socks and cleaning up after him for the rest of your life. But
Sophia, there's a lesson to be learned.
Yeah,
right there.
And so see, that's a good thing to learn.
Right.
So from his side, there are people who are that shy. Now, the reason they're that shy, there's some people, you and I know, well, we have each a kid who's that shy,
right.
And so there's just some people who are terrified of interaction with other people.
Right.
And so this was probably a hard thing for this young man to get up the courage to even ask someone out. Well, and so he's got a lot of things.
Have a car.
We had a lot of things going against him on this deal that were really dysfunctional.
Right.
You don't ask somebody out when you don't have a car, and you don't ask them to pick you up if you live 45 minutes away. That's
like living in Salt Lake for me.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Right. And then come all the way back to a theater here and then expect to drive, so we're looking at 3 hours almost of driving time that that you're putting into this. It just doesn't make sense. But the other part here is that when they got together, that he could not even communicate with her.
Right.
So I know kids that are that way, and kids that are that way too, and they grow out of that eventually. but it's not something that is going to impress a girl on a first date.
On a first date, right?
And so don't put yourself, if you're that really shy kid, don't put yourself in this kind of a situation where you have to spend nearly 3 hours in a car with somebody,
right.
and not.
Well, and how many times have we talked about the fact that you've got to learn to communicate?
Right.
Even if you memorize 10 questions
Yes.
before the date,
Yeah.
you have to get away from that shyness, and you have to really start putting an effort towards trying to communicate with the girl.
And obviously didn't know what he was doing as far as dating was doing, that would try to kiss a girl in the movie on the first date.
Right.
That's just not.
I would. Sophia, would you have hit him?
No, I would not.
Yeah,
This is on record.
No, we don't
Well,
promote violence on
I think Sophia knows what it's like to go out with a guy that talks a lot and won't shut up.
Oh.
So
you got both sides. You got the guy who wants to watch you rock climb, and then you got the person who's afraid to put two words together. Now, that's not necessarily that that's a bad person, because there are some people who are that shy, and sometimes that's attractive to women. But I think that he was thinking, okay, if we go to a movie theater, it's going to be easier for me because we won't have to talk. So, A+ for that.
Right.
That was a great thing if you're a really shy person. And a lot of times women like guys who are shy because they enjoy bringing them out of it, bringing them out of their shyness. Is that correct?
Or they're shy. I think,
yeah.
Like if you're shy or if you like people that are shy, I think a movie is a great idea. He had some good ideas in there. The execution was questionable.
Execution bad.
Well,
you get a D on D- minus on execution.
Or there's just a bunch of guys and they're saying, okay, I'll bet you, because it's okay. I'll bet you that I can ask a girl out, not have a car, not talk to her the entire time, and then still get her to kiss me.
Yeah.
And you'd say, okay, $100. That's the only thing I can think is that somewhere there's some frat guys who lost a bet.
Well, I feel bad because I think not having a car I think that's okay. I mean, that's not his fault. He doesn't have a car, but I would definitely communicate beforehand that he lives so far
you'd say,
away.
I live in Salt Lake City, and I don't have a car, but do you want to go out to? If you have a car, you could come pick me up. We could go to a theater there. Right. Then you're not going to have to drive me all the way back.
He made a lot of mistakes.
Well, you learn from these.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, you ready for another one?
Yes.
Okay. We want to go out again sometime.
Mm-hmm.
The bouncy house date and the ice skating kiss attempt.
No, I got to go with the ice skating kiss attempt. That's just got.
It's every third one I pick. You like that idea?
All right. It sounds more enticing.
Okay. All right.
You with me, Sophia?
Yeah. Here we go. This one happened more recently. I'm sorry to say. This guy asked me to go ice skating with him, and I was super down just to get to know him and have a fun evening. The day was going well. We ice skated for a little bit. Then we got hot chocolate. However, the place where we got the hot chocolate was packed, so we decided to sit in his car. We just kept chatting and asking each other questions, etc. So this guy had a good conversation going. But there comes a point when he gets this smirk on his face and says, I had this psychology professor who told our class how if a first date is going well and if you're compatible with the person. And I knew he was flirting hardcore, but I played along and asked him what his professor said. And he said there were 3 questions. First, I had to say what my favorite color was and explain why in detail.
Stop. Okay. I know this. Go ahead.
You know where this is going?
Yeah.
Second, the question was my favorite animal and why, once again, in great detail. And what do you think the third one's going to be?
Body of water.
So I answered that question, and he tells me the third question shows what kind of person I am, and the second question is what I'm looking for in a relationship, and it was kind of random. Then this is where it gets bad. He leans in and says, this is a quote, the third question is a little different. We have to question whether or not we are compatible in kissing.
Yeah.
Oh, my eyes got huge, and I kind of laughed in his face a little bit. I couldn't believe that after such a nice and chill time getting to know each other, he would pull this move. Personally, it just felt really out of nowhere, and I respectfully told him no. Then he kind of sat and pouted for a minute, and I wasn't going to budge, though. I ended up asking him to drive me home because it was getting late, in quotes there. But it was just frustrating because it was a perfectly good date until the end.
So was her body of water a dry lake bed? Is that what she was saying? It's the Great Salt Lake. It's drying up. It's dried up.
So he gives us a moral here. Moral of the story: most of my bad dating experiences happen at the end of a perfectly good date.
Yeah. So
please think twice. The next time you get up the courage to do something, you know your date probably isn't going to be down for.
Yeah. So, this psychological experiment, this has gone on for years and years and years. It's very common, so it's reflective on some things. But when you get
he was using it.
What the problem was that he was using it on a first date to move this into a physical situation of kissing, which is not appropriate, unless if the girl wants to kiss you, you will know that. You don't have to coerce her into it by saying we're going to do a psychological experiment and we have to, that's just unnatural.
Right.
So I think that's the thing that scared her off. It sounds like the date was going so well that if he would have been kind throughout the rest of the date and when he took her home, she might have kissed him.
Right.
And so I think that his own plan, he set out, got in his way.
What was the rule from the movie Hitch? Did he say you go in 90 and let her come in the additional 10? Yeah. And so he could have tried that move, and if she came in, great. If not, then he had the answer on that one.
Well, because what it told her is that he's just interested in kissing me.
Right.
He's not interested in getting to know me.
He wasn't interested in how the rest of that date went.
Right. He was not. It was, and we see this on larger scales in other people who are only looking for sexual relations on a date, and so I've had female friends, so the guy picks them up and says, look, if this doesn't end at a hotel, I'm just taking you right now. And so there are, this goes, and it's this same theory of the body of water is really a representation of your sexual compatibility in the way that this psychological experiment goes. So kissing is, it was the G-rated version of that, but still even the message to the same was, I don't know you, I haven't got to know you, but I want to have a physical relationship with you for my own enjoyment. And that's not attractive to the women. Fellas, that's not attractive to the gals. That's not what they're looking for.
Sophia, what do you think?
I can confirm. Yeah, Good. No. Please don't do that.
All right. Don't do. All right, so let me give you two more choices. These are the last two.
Okay.
All right, so one is we want to go out again sometime, or the bouncy house date.
Okay, I think I'm going to go with the bouncy house date.
Bouncy house date.
Sounds intriguing.
Okay, but it might be. So here we go. I went on a date with this guy, and I met him on a date app, the date app Hinge.
Okay, heard of it?
Heard of it, yeah.
Heard of
they
Hinge.
Don't sponsor us.
No, they don't, so we won't mention their name.
But they could, so calling out Hinge. Okay. I always talk to a guy for at least a couple of weeks before I agree to go on an actual date with him. So we talked for a while, and he passed the first round of tests, and I like that. I like them getting to know the guy,
this is
finding out if he's legit.
She's thinking, she's serious about this.
She says he was decent looking, and I was pretty sure he wouldn't murder me, so I agreed to go on a date with him.
Oh yeah.
He asked if I could meet him at this place that was an hour away. She said I would usually never go somewhere so far away, but he seemed like a nice dude. And I wanted to try to get out of my comfort zone a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't blame her.
So the day of the date arrives, and I drive an hour away for this fun center. And I thought it was going to be a pretty popular place to go roller skating or play arcade games. And it probably was if you were in the 4th grade.
What? I didn't expect that.
Well, get this. I swear we were the only people there over the age of 11.
Okay.
So a bunch of 11-year-olds and these two 20-year-olds. Roller skating and playing.
Okay, I'm
pretty good.
I'm getting a visual picture here.
He seemed super nice at first and very respectful, but something immediately made me wonder why I chose to go on a date with this guy.
Yes.
He starts acting like the dumbest person I've ever met. Like there wasn't a thought in his head. I tried talking to him about movies, music, or school, and he gives only the vaguest answers like, yeah, I like movies, or yeah, I don't really have a favorite artist. They're all just kind of the same to me. So it's pretty hard to keep a conversation going with this guy.
With an 11-year-old.
Well, you know why he likes the fun center.
Yes.
We're having this conversation while we're skating, and I'm getting run over and knocked into by all these kids skating in the rink. And then he goes, come watch me on the bouncy house.
No.
No. Well, at this point, I have nothing to lose. So I agree, and I end up watching a 24-year-old man race 8-year-olds around a bouncy house. Finally, the date is over, and I thank him for the experience, knowing there will never be a second date.
Wow. So on the upside here, sometimes that's charming to women because a man who likes kids is very attractive to women because that means that he's caring and that he is sensitive.
You think that's what he was trying to?
Well, no, this is what I'm saying. But at the beginning of this, and so looking at a man as a potential date who likes children is not a bad thing.
That's true.
That's a very positive thing. But if he is a child, that is not
not attractive. Not attractive.
Well, he was attractive. He was a cute guy, but the problem is he was an 11-year-old in a 24-year-old's body, you know, which he certainly showed to her. When I don't think he became the dumbest person in the world. He just reverted to his environment.
That's true.
He got in with all the 11-year-olds, and he was, you ask 11-year-olds questions, and they say yes or no or I don't know, and so he was reverting back to his 11-year-old self because of his environment that he was in. And he had a hard time coming out of that. So for him, running around with a bunch of 11-year-olds was really fun.
Normal, right?
Well, and fun enough for him to want to watch him do
it.
Hey,
the bouncy house.
Come and watch me act like an 11-year-old.
I hope he won the race.
He was probably elbowing kids.
Get out of my way, kid. So, well, and I think that, again, it's you got to know what's going on. You kind of have to really understand.
Well, and to drive an hour for that experience.
All right, last one.
And
you put this one off to the end.
Yes, I did. I want to say
we want to go out again sometime.
Yes, I see. That's a good ending one.
This really should end it. One day I went to my friend's entrepreneur class because she was telling me how cool the class was and that I should check it out.
Cool. I've heard that.
They are fun. Not as good as the advertising class.
It doesn't even not in the same ballpark, but I've heard they're okay.
So she says I decided to go. Well, while I was there, we met this guy who was cute, and he started talking to us. And after class, he asked for our Snapchats and phone numbers, and we decided to give them to him because he was funny and seemed like a nice guy. Time goes on, and he keeps Snapchatting me and texting me, and we talk about the kind of basic things, getting to know you information. And we continue to talk over social media or texting when he finally asked me out on a date. So far, so good. Yeah. Sophia, so far, so good?
Yeah, not too bad.
Okay. I was excited because we'd been talking for a while, and he was cute and seemed super cool. And we go on just a basic dinner date. I drove myself to the restaurant.
Good for her.
She put that in parentheses.
Yes, she's listened to our podcast.
Listens, and it was fun getting to know each other in person, talking about different things like school, work, futures, career. And while we were talking, there were a few things that he said that I thought were a little weird, but overall it was pretty fun.
Okay.
So far,
a few
so
red
good.
flags, but nothing really serious.
It was definitely fun enough for me to want to go on a second date with him. Mm-hmm. That is, until we were about to leave, and he says, and this is in quotes, "We like you very much."
We
like you very much.
As in the royal we.
And she said, I was so confused as to why he was saying we, because it was only me and him on this date. So I said, what? And he repeated himself, "We like you very much."
Him and Precious? Is that...
And so she said, I looked at him and then looked around us over my shoulder to see if anyone else was standing near. And he said, "We would like to go out on a second date with you."
Wow.
And I again said, what? And he repeated himself, "We would like to go out on a second date with you." And I thought, is he talking to me in third person? At this point, the conversation had taken a really strange turn. So I asked, "What do you mean we?" And he said, "Me and you, we." I said, "Are you asking me out?" And he said, "Yes, we would like to go out again."
Oh, wow, okay.
I thought, okay, was he trying some kind of Jedi mind trick or what? I suggested that he call me sometime, and I left. Thank goodness I drove myself.
Right.
All I could think of on my way home was, that's the weirdest ending to any date I've ever been on.
Wow, bizarre. But good that, she caught that. But so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And what he was trying to say is, we have so much fun, and I get the feeling that you would like to go out with me again, and I would like to go out with you.
I think you're giving him a lot of credit.
Tom,
Here's what I think. I think he got so nervous. Everything was going well, and he wanted to go out with this girl again, and he got so nervous, he turned into
an idiot.
Yoda.
Well,
we would like to go out again.
Or the Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin, yeah. Did he talk in third person?
But perhaps, he was nervous that she might say no. The date went well for him, and he was saying, I'd like to go out with you again. And so he was trying to make it, we're going to go out again, is what he was trying going out again. But see, that's not good either, because he's taking the entire decision-making away from her, which is a bit of a red flag.
These aren't the drones you're looking for.
These are not the bouncy houses you're looking for. There's really no way to defend this. I tried as hard as I could.
You did a good job.
I know this kid is listening right now, and I'm sorry. It was a bad. You were nervous, whatever you did. I don't know what it was. Don't do this again.
Don't do it.
Don't speak.
Calm down.
Relax, and just say, I really had a fun time, and I would love to see you again.
Yeah.
How hard is that to say?
Would it freak you out?
How could it not freak you out?
Sophia, would you be freaked out if a guy said, we would like to go out with you again?
Well, to be honest, there's I know that there's some mental disabilities where they have a third person, they speak in third person, but I feel
But she's been talking to him all night.
Yeah,
so
I feel if I was to directly ask you about that, she said, what do you mean? And then he would then hopefully explain, I speak in the third, in that situation, that's the most, that makes sense.
Now she's giving him a lot of credit, too.
I identify as twins.
You two are so nice.
No, there's people
I'm trying to figure out the psychology behind why you would do that. The only thing I can figure is that he was nervous.
It must have been.
And it's too bad, because the rest of the date went really, really well. Right. So I'm talking to you, dude. The date went really well, except that last thing that you screwed it up by talking in the royal we, like you're some kind of an idiot and you've got a split personality or something. You want to scare a girl away? Act like you've got a split personality.
Yeah, he did.
Don't do that.
That's too bad.
And I feel sorry for this young lady, because sounds like she had a fun time.
She had a good time, wanted to go on a second date.
But she was smart. She obviously listens to our podcast, because she drove herself there. So thank goodness she was able to just leave.
Right. And she didn't have to drive home with them.
Yeah.
Well, did you have fun?
These are always fun.
Fun.
There's never a dull moment when you. And I have friends, who listen to this podcast, and they love the bad date stories, because I think everybody has got a treasure trove of these that they've experienced themselves or they've heard from others. And this is really how we learn. It's kind of like the Bible, in a sense. Am I just comparing the
Bible
to Scripture?
I think
and that's we learn from the mistakes of others.
Right. Well, we're here to educate.
We learn. That's what we do.
We are educators.
We are educators and entertainers.
Right.
And
this was very entertaining.
It was.
So, well, thank you for playing along.
My pleasure.
It was
as
fun.
Always.
Sophia, thank you for being on our board.
Of course.
And
we really appreciate it.
We appreciate you, Sophia.
Thank you.
So, hey, you guys, thanks for listening. We're so happy that you're listening to us and you're part of our podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. Again, lots of really fun things going up there. You can check us on the It's Just Dinner podcast on Instagram. And we're also on TikTok. And we have some fun things going up on TikTok as well. So we're really getting into the social media thing very heavy.
Big time.
So thank you. Hey, if you have funny date stories, you have bad date stories, you can email those at the It's Just Dinner podcast at gmail.com.
And we never use your names, as you saw today.
Never use your names.
We like making fun of other people's expense
and
anonymously.
We will make fun of the date you went on.
We will.
So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you listening. And hey, just go have fun out there, would you?